Okay.
All right, what's up, everyone? Uh, Second time making this video. The first one, I don't know, it got deleted. So today's video is about everything happens for a reason. Everything in life happens for a reason. My mother-in-law was a big believer in this. My mother-in-law had a lot of faith. She was a big believer, and throughout lifetime, I've realized this. She was absolutely right. And I want to give you some examples of why I say this. And it's something I do believe in, like karma. I do believe in karma. And, I'll start off with something simple. Like, for example, uh, one time we were driving back from my mom's house years ago. Me and my wife, well, at the time, we were just dating, but we pulled over halfway, well, not halfway through, a little bit before halfway. It's a 2-hour drive. We had pulled over at the gas station to put gas in. Well, she decided um, she wanted to go inside the McDonald's, inside the Chevron, and sit down and eat. Fast food restaurant, sit down. No candlelights though. No, but all joking aside, she decided to sit down and eat. So, all right, cool. We went in there, we sat down and eat. Me personally, I just want to get gas and get going and get the drive done with. But there was a reason. There was a reason why she decided to sit down and eat. So we sat down, we got our food, and I kid you not, as soon as we sat down, there was sirens, um, a lot of sirens. Sheriff was zooming by, fire department was zooming by, ambulances were zooming by, and right over the bridge right there was a big incident or accident, I should say. I don't know if it was an incident or an accident. There is a difference. So there was a big accident, and unfortunately, there was fatalities. I'm not going to get too much details of this accident, but if she didn't decide to go to McDonald's, sit down and eat, we could have been part of that accident. And another perfect example, like I'm one that always likes to be early. I always like leaving early. I always like to be there early. I don't have to rush. I don't have to worry about nothing. If I get a flat tire, if I get, uh, something's on the freeway, I got time to get there in time. I can take my time. There's no hurry. There's no rushing. So, one time, of course, after my incident, because at one time I was able to see, I was working, but of course, I was in that incident, which I'll get to that in a minute. Uh, I had a school uh, I had to go DJ at, and luckily we made it on time. But we were loading up. My dad was taking me. Kim was at work. My dad was taking me, and me. Well, not me, obviously not me, but my son was loading up my dad's van with my equipment, and we were taking off, and I had forgot to get my USBs. So we turned around and came back. Well, turning around and coming back, saved us some time, but it made me run late, and I don't like running late. So, when we were taking off, we came back, we grabbed my USBs, and we headed back. Well, when we got on the freeway, there were some sirens passing by, and the freeway was at a stop. So, I called the school and I had to let them know we're running late. There's I don't know what's going on, but the freeway's at a stop. Luckily, I was only 3 exits away. And the school said, that's okay, no problem. It doesn't start until an hour from now, anyways. But I wanted to get there at least a half hour early before I can set up and be ready for when the event started. So going down the freeway, we found out there was a big accident. And if I didn't forget my USBs, we could have been part of that accident. So, everything happens for a reason. You ever, you know, forget something at the house and you go back and then find out later on a little bit in front of you there's an accident, for example, like that incident or accident. Everything happens for a reason. Same thing when somebody comes into your life. If they come into your life at the right time, there's a reason for that. If same thing goes like for example with marriages, right? If you meet your wife and neither one of you ain't ready at that time, it's not going to work out. But you meet somebody at the right time, there's a reason for that. Things work out. Like for example, me and Kim, I was lucky enough to meet her at the right time. We were friends for a while, and then things happen, and we wind up getting together. We wind up having kids, but this is back in '90 when we finally got together. It was back in '98, so we stood friends for a reason. We stood friends, and now look at 9 kids later. So it leads me to this. We got 2 sons that passed away. Now, I remember when my first son passed away, I remember my mother-in-law was telling us, God needed him for a reason. There's a reason why God took him. Nobody should have to bury their own kids. And she said, you may not never know until your time's up. And that's when you'll find out what the reasons were. But in this case, to this day, I don't know the full reasons. And I won't talk about the grieving process and all of that stuff because that's for another video another time. If it's okay with my wife to speak about that. And it's a touchy subject for us, but in this case, my son was able to live. So right before that, months before my wife had delivered, I hurt my back, and me hurting my back, put us in a bind at the time. We got on welfare, we got on food stamps, and that was a blessing. That was a blessing. We were able to do that, and that's what a lot of people. Another video, another time, but that's what a lot of people. I remember going to a store with food stamps, kind of looking down at us, not knowing the situation. So if you don't know somebody's situation and they're on aid, hey, don't judge them because nobody knows somebody's situation. Period. But that's another video, another time. So, but there was a reason why I hurt my back at that time, because I got to spend every single last second with my son. When my son was born, he was born with a heart condition. They had to fly him up. He had open heart surgery the same night. And, so much. But, the 2 years, the almost 2 years he was with us, I got to spend every last second with him. So there was a reason why I hurt my back. That was a blessing in disguise. But the surgeon took it hard that he passed away. He was the second person known on earth to have that condition. And he happened to live a lot longer than the first girl that had the condition. I want to say in China, she only lived for a couple hours. My son lived for a year and 10 months. So, but, a few years went by and we had a couple other kids, and our last son, he wound up having the same condition, which they told us is like 1 in 10 million chance. He wound up having the same condition. And it's crazy now that I'm thinking about this. I'll get there in a minute. It just, went through my head right now. So there's a reason for everything. Like there's a reason for me making this video to make me realize what I'm about to talk about. So my second son was born, and he was with the same condition. They had to fly him to the Children's Hospital out to the Bay Area. And, so my first son passing away, the surgeon changed his whole lifestyle. It bothered him so much. He went into deep research on this condition. And, he was real close and sympathetic with us. And we didn't find this out until my second son. And it just so happened the surgeon for my first son was there, and he remembered us. And this is how we found this out. He upgraded this ECMO machine and you have to be qualified to be on it. But now it's saving thousands of lives every single day because he upgraded it because of what the way he took it hard with my son passing, and all the surgeries he did on my son, and he still wound up passing away, and he took it hard. So he did so much research, out of the countries and all over the place. And so the way he upgraded this ECMO machine allowed my second son to live for 11 days. It gave him enough time for my wife to get out of the hospital and go up there and spend some time with him. Now, unfortunately, he wound up passing away, but he didn't pass away due to the condition. He passed away due to a brain bleed, which leads me to, there's a reason why I'm making this video, which leads me to this. And I'm just realizing this. When I got in my incident, I had a brain bleed, and a part of my brain that was non-surgical. One of the many reasons why the doctor kept telling when I was in a coma, my family, that I had no chance to pull the plug. Now, it's ironic that my second son that passed away, that was his cause because of a brain bleed. And I had a brain bleed that was supposed to take my life. And, it leads me to want to believe one of the reasons why he took our two sons from us is to help me fight to live. Because medically, I'm not supposed to be here, but I lived, and I believe my sons were with me. And that could be one of the reasons why he took my sons early, knowing my path. This way they can help me fight. And, it just situations that makes a difference in life on why certain things happen. And, it's just wild that, this, touching more personal, more, there's so many things I can talk about things happening for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. There's things that happens for a reason. Sometimes, God wants to test your faith, so He has things happen for a reason to see if you're gonna have faith and choose the right path and have your faith in God. That could be some of the reasons. You go through certain things in life, but everything. There's so many things going through my head right now. There's so many things I can speak about on why things happen for a reason. As a matter of fact, let me end it with this story here. I mean, there's so many different things I can talk about, and so many things that just make you trip out. But this one right here, I want to talk about real fast because I was gonna go visit my mom. So I was gonna go visit my mom up in Napa from where I'm at, and the last minute, I wound up picking up Kim, and she wanted to go in with me. But there was a reason for that, and I'll explain why here. And it's a trippy reason, and you guys might be like, "Nah, that's not real," but it's the truth. And Kim was right here. You're seeing her face like, "Oh, that shit was trippy." So, remind you when we were getting off of Lodi on the Highway 12, headed up towards Napa. If you know that, it's the dark two-way highway, and there's a lot of accidents that happens there. And so we first got off the Lodi, and we made the left going on Highway 12, and it was cold, it was windy, it was raining, it was just an ugly night. So we made the left, and we seen this lady there. She was walking towards the middle of nowhere. She wasn't walking to where the gas stations were at, the truck stop was at, the fast food restaurant. No, she was walking to the middle of nowhere. She was walking, going the way we were going, up to Napa, up towards Fairfield, Rio Vista. So from Lodi to Rio Vista, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. And there's no lights. There's no lights on. It's just pitch black. Well, my headlights shine on this lady. She was an old lady. She had one of those netted covers over her. like a homemade netted cover, and she was real hunchback, and she was walking with the grocery basket, and you can tell there's stuff in the grocery basket. And I remember I said, now Kim was with me, I would have pulled over and helped me, but I remember I said, I gotta pull over, I gotta help her, I gotta see if she needs something or a ride. I want to give her a ride, get her out of this rain. And she's like, no, that's spooky. No, that's scary. How do you know it's not a plan? It's not a setup. How do you know she don't have somebody? Because it's dark, ready to do something bad for us trying to help her. There could be somebody, there could be a guy or two guys, with the gun or something, ready to jump out and rob us. So, she was scared. So I understood that. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna pull over. But she never turned around and looked at us, nothing. We just passed by her. And I felt bad. The whole time I was feeling guilty, like, man, I should have pulled over. I should have helped her. I should have gave her a ride. Well, about an hour, about 45 minutes passing, we had just got through Rio Vista, where you start going over through the hills. And one of the biggest hills, it was a passing lane, or still is to this day, it's a passing lane on one of the highest little foothills right there. And remind you, it's pitch dark, there's no lights, and we were on the passing lane going up the hill. While we seen, and this is at least 20, 30 miles later, we seen the same lady, the same grocery cart, walking up the hill. Now, I'm in a car. I was doing like 70. I'm not gonna lie, I was speeding. I was doing like 70. And Kim turns around. She goes, "Oh my God, you see what I see?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I got the chills." Instantly, right now, telling the story, I'm getting the chills. I said, "Yeah, I see that." And this lady pulled down her netted thing like this while she was in front of us, going up this hill, walking up. I don't know how she beat us there. And she went to go turn around slowly. I remember she had pure white hair. She was short. She was hunchback. And I'm getting the chills. And Kim goes, oh my God, don't look. And she covered her face like that, went sideways and put her foot up, and she got scared. And I'm not gonna lie, I got scared. I didn't look at her. I hit the gas and we were gone. So there was a reason why she went with me, because I would have pulled over. Who knows what would have happened? Obviously she wasn't alive. I sad to put it that way, but obviously there was a reason why the last minute, Kim went with me. Because if I would have stopped, who knows? I don't even want to think about it. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it there, because I could make this video lengthy with stories that I live, and everything happens for a reason. And I don't want to make this video too long. So before I do end this, Brenda, you in here? Okay. So with that said, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. Remember, tell your loved ones you love them before you leave your house, because you're not guaranteed to make it home. Be blessed and stay blessed.